I'm here with Stan Snyder with Louis Brispra. Stan, can you tell me why is an event like today so important for this region?
Well, I think events like this are important in terms of getting together developers, investors, and also it's important in terms of education for people who want to come down and see what's going on in terms of renewable and non-renewable resources.
And where do you see the future of renewable energy in California?
Well, I think there's a huge potential in the desert area, which is where we're at now. I think the Mono County area has a lot of potential. Also, the desert area, the high desert, has a lot of potential. It depends what you're looking at. When you're talking about renewable, you're usually talking about solar, wind, and I assume you'd consider geothermal. So solar, obviously, you want to be someplace where the sun shines a lot. So the desert's a perfect area. And the nice thing about solar is usually it's going to start in the morning and it's going to go till the end of the day. So it's going to more closely follow what they call the peak loads, that someone might need. With wind, you've got to be someplace windy. So, what's good, you're not going to be in an urban area. I think the Palm Springs Pass is a perfect example. In terms of geothermal, there's a lot of potential in the IID area and in different places in California.
What are some of the major obstacles the state has to overcome to move renewables forward?
Well, you said that I'm going to be a lawyer with you, okay? You said the state has to overcome. It's almost kind of not even a state, it's even kind of a federal issue, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. The biggest issue is transmission lines, which we talked about before. And Edison's working on improving the Devers Palo Verde line. As you may or may not be aware, in Arizona, they had a problem expanding it, but they're working on it on this side of the border. And the Imperial Irrigation District has an existing line that has tremendous potential if it was upgraded.
And you had some ideas on how they might start approaching that. What were those ideas?
Okay, well, this is strictly my idea, okay, not anything from the firm, but the thing that I've noticed, whether it be transmission or other kind of projects, is lots of times people have big plans. They want to do the whole thing all at once, and if you break it down into small pieces, oftentimes it's more feasible. I think it's kind of like our freeway system. Remember, we originally had dirt roads, with the wagon trains coming out. Then I'm sure they did some initial paving, and then in the 1950s, Eisenhower upgraded it. When you're doing transmission lines like IID, it just seems to me that if you took a chunk of it, if you took from the Salton Sea upward and were upgraded it and did it in projects, there's a lot of potential in the Salton Sea area for geothermal, solar, et cetera. And this is kind of like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie with Kevin Costner, The Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. I mean, you build a transmission line into an area like that that's rich with renewable resources, they're going to be lined up. Developers are going to be lined up wanting to interconnect. Now, but it also applies, developers also, even if they have transmission lines, and you and I talked about this, solar is still relatively expensive for a utility. If they're spending, say, 2.5, 3 cents on natural gas, and it's, say, 8 cents or 7 cents for solar, they've got to mix that into their product mix so that the prices don't go too high. So sometimes it's easier to just start with a smaller project with expandability on it, and then you sell a piece and go on. But a lot depends on the finances, and it's ultimately a business decision in terms of how it's done.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Great talking to you.